I believe, and I think most Canadians believe, that it is offensive that someone would hide their identity at the very moment where they are committing to join the Canadian family. This is a society that is transparent, open, and where people are equal.
There's the Prime Minister reviving the niqab debate this week, vowing to appeal a court decision that allowed women to keep their niqabs on during citizenship ceremonies. We're back with round two of the Sunday Scrum. Susan Riley, Rosemary Barton, and John Ibbotson are all in Ottawa today. So, John, what do you think the Prime Minister is doing here? What's behind all of this?
The Prime Minister is playing a very dangerous game. Allow me to make a plug here. I have a column about this in the Globe and Mail. The Tories' numbers are going up in Quebec. They're going up surprisingly in Quebec. And the only conceivable reason why they're going up in Quebec is that Quebecers who worry about multiculturalism, Quebecers who believe that the French culture is being undermined by Muslim immigration, hear what Stephen Harper is saying about the niqab, hear about what he's saying about the war on extremism, know that he sent Canadian troops into Iraq, know about the anti-terrorism legislation, and they like it. They see it as him fighting back against this. It's a very dangerous game, first of all, because it risks inciting anti-Muslim sentiment, and secondly, because the Conservative electoral coalition is based on immigrant voters in suburban Ontario, in the 905 around Toronto. And if they hear the message that this is anti-immigration, that this is anti-multiculturalism, he risks blowing up his electoral coalition. So on the one hand, he's courting gains in Quebec. On the other hand, he's playing a very dangerous game.
All right. Well, John, to your point, this is how a Quebec newspaper sees things in terms of trying to view. This is the bonhomme and Stephen Harper in bed together. And the caption is, the fourth time that the Prime Minister, just about that, you can't see, but the fourth time the Prime Minister visited Quebec City in less than a year, so that's the stronghold. And then it says, people are going to start to talk, you know. So, Rosie, what's your take on all this?
Yeah, I agree entirely with John. I mean, I think that this is wedge politics at its worst. You know, we talked about it at length on Power and Politics on Friday, speaking of plugs, and a lot of people got really angry with me, with the show, for even discussing it, because they thought we were playing into Stephen Harper's attempt to make this an issue where there isn't one. I do, however, think that it's important to highlight the things that he's saying, the places that he's saying them in Quebec, where there has been a vigorous debate about accommodating immigrants, and where it has gone very far, that debate, as you know, with the PQ's Charter of Values finally being shot down, but looked like it was going to happen for a very long time. And asking Canadians, you know, is this acceptable for him to say these things, and are you comfortable with that idea? I mean, just to be clear, the citizenship ceremony where the woman at issue here in this story wanted to wear her niqab was after she had already passed the test, after she had already showed people her identity under the niqab. And so, you know, it was a very ceremonial moment. But still, the government insists that she should be showing her face in those instances as well.
All right. Last but not least, and I've defied my producers because they're worried that we're not going to get through all of this, but we will. We will. A big birthday is being celebrated today. Canada's flag turns 50. Rosie, with all the anniversaries, the Conservatives have been keen to note no hoopla. However, I should mention that this just moved on our wires, that the Prime Minister is saying that he's going to give, I think, 50, have I got this right, 50 Peace Tower flags to Canadians who have made a difference. Here's some old viz of that flag flying for the first time 50 years ago, and now we have a live shot of the new visuals. Do we have a live shot of the new visuals? Okay, so here we go. So there are some celebrations. This is Ottawa. This is a Winterlude ceremony where the Governor-General, David Johnston, is expected to speak shortly. So, Rosie, what's going on here? Have you heard from the government as to, you know, why does the Prime Minister not have any events today? Justin Trudeau, Jean Chrétien, former Prime Minister, have events today, but we have a statement, but no public events on the 50th anniversary of the flag. He was celebrating John A. Macdonald's 200th birthday when there were a lot of leaders in Paris walking through the streets of Paris after the attack. So there you go.
Yeah, and the government is spending $50,000 on the celebrations for the flag, as opposed to 5.2 on the War of 1812, $4 billion on the 20th anniversary of John A. Macdonald. So it's fairly simple. Although the government likes to put a giant flag behind Stephen Harper, there is, for some reason, a view amongst some conservatives that it is much more a liberal symbol than a conservative symbol.
So, John, I mean, is this really, this is 50 years old. I know Diefenbaker was against it and Pearson was for it, but 50 years later, is this debate still going on? Are we really talking about this today?
Yeah, it is a bit ridiculous, but the Conservatives believe that many of the national myths, whether it's the flag or healthcare or the pension plan, are liberal myths, liberal symbols, and they're trying to create new ones like the War of 1812, like the Arctic, that people will identify as Canadian, as conservative symbols, conservative myths, and for this reason they're downplaying the flag, but I think it's just foolish.
Susan, last word to you.
I want to know where our giant flag is. Andrew, I mean, did we not get one of these?
You should have worn one as a cape or something.
I totally should have. You know, I mean, who can be against the flag? But I don't think we're a flag-waving people, and I don't think it's a controversy.
All right. Well, that was enjoyable. And see, I defied my producers. Thanks to the three of you. You did it.
Amazing.
We got through all
You're
those
amazing.
topics. No, you are. Thank you very much. Rosemary Barton, John Ibbotson, and Susan Riley in Ottawa.